I experienced culture shock as soon as I walked on campus. I attended a school on the reservation in which the majority of students were Native. With the campus being predominantly white, a Native student can feel alone. I began to look for other Native students and gravitated towards others similar to me.
It's difficult living in two worlds. After leaving the reservation to attend college, some friends will tell me that I have turned white. When I'm at college, I'm still a person of color and don't feel that I fit in here either. So now I don't fit in at home or in college.
Students of color mention that they are often called on to speak for or perform their race. For example, when the instructor asks an American Indian student to give the Indian perspective. Moreover, if students do not fit the racial or ethnic stereotype, their authenticity is questioned. I have been in classrooms when students, even teachers, look at me to find out the Indian perspective. It's interesting to see how one labels an American Indian: dark hair, brown skin, dark eyes.
In the classroom, someone behind me was discussing how he did not feel that American Indians deserved to be here, and that we only got in because the school has to let them in.
In one of my lecture classes, we were talking about something related to the American Indian community. The professor called on me to explain what American Indians think of the issue, since I am an American Indian, as if I am the voice of all American Indians.
One day while I was eating in the dining hall, I overheard a couple of girls in the table next to me say the only thing they knew about Native Americans is that they live on the reservation and that they drink. I didn't really know what to think, so I didn't do or say anything at all. It really made me upset.
I was walking home from class fall semester during the Standing Rock No Dapple movement when a pickup truck drove by me twice. The second time, the people inside tossed cans of beer at me and shouted, "Go back to the res." This incident reminded me that no matter where I am in America, my ethnicity makes me feel like an outcast.
During my third year of college, I had difficulty in 2 classes due to outside stressors. I went to the academic department to meet with an advisor to discuss possibly dropping a class or two because I was taking 17 or 18 credits and I was feeling overwhelmed. The professor told me I should change my major because the major was too hard for me. She didn't try to help me out or make any suggestions to help me improve my situations or my study habits, and offered no encouragement at all. I felt like she was looking down on me because of my race and socioeconomic background.
On Halloween weekend, a group of friends and I were hanging out. As Native students, we stuck together. What was originally a fun night quickly turned sour when a white girl in a Pocahontas costume showed up. We had seen plenty of red-faced costumes before, but we felt an obligation to say something. My friend confronted her and said, "Hey, you know your costume's pretty messed up, right? Especially wearing it in front of a group of Native Americans." Which the girl just laughed and said, "How? I come in peace."
When people make assumptions about my ethnicity, it really hurts. It makes me feel that that's all they're going to see me as the girl from the reservation. Being categorized by a last name makes me feel that people aren't going to see me for who I really am.
Since I do not have dark skin, people often assume that I am not a real American Indian and that I am not a real minority. It is hurtful and makes me feel disenfranchised from both the racial minority community as well as the white community.
My Native perspectives are often not granted validity or even a chance for discussion because they assume my ideas stem from my heritage and not scientific insights. When the value of life or the environment is discussed, my Native beliefs are often viewed as primitive.
I think it's important for faculty to hear Native student stories directly from the students because you can learn about Indian culture and you can learn about teaching methods and that kind of thing, but it's really hard to understand it unless you hear the actual experiences of students that have happened even on our campus. And so I think it's really important that the faculty have the opportunity to hear those stories.
Having attended the training, it was obvious to me how important it was to the students that there were faculty and staff on our campus who wanted to hear their stories and who believed those stories were important. And so in addition to the learning that faculty and staff take away from listening to those stories, I think it also conveys something very powerful to our students, that we want to know, we want to understand, we want to do better for our students, and the only way we're going to be able to do that is to hear from them directly. I think that higher education has a long history of not including everyone, and our Native students come from communities and from families where they may have felt excluded from higher education, even from the possibility of higher education. And when Native students come to our campus, I think they often feel marginalized even here. And so I think it's really important for us as a campus community to acknowledge that, to acknowledge the history, to acknowledge the systems that operate on our campuses, to perpetuate the status quo, and to come together as a community to talk about how we can do things differently so that our Native students feel welcomed and included and have an opportunity to be successful here.
And I think of it even further down the road than that. There's one thing to celebrate the successes of individual students as they graduate and, obtain their degrees and their skills that they need to go out there into the world of work, whether it be nursing, doctors, social work, whatever it happens to be. I think, when these Native students leave here, they make a big difference in their communities as well. And I've seen it in my lifetime, how entire communities have changed, particularly in the school systems and in the health systems, where they were predominantly, most of the positions were occupied by non-natives, particularly white people. And now you're seeing on most of the Indian reservations that those kind of positions are being held by Native people who have gone on and gotten an education. And if we're welcoming to those students, and if we can help them get that education, they're going to make a bigger difference on their home communities as well.